The auxiliary rudder was intended to increase the maneuverability of the Yamato, but its effectiveness was diminished because of its configuration, which favored resistance to possible damages at the expenses of functionality. The four propellers had 5.7 meters in diameter. These openings astern were the gates from where the lifeboats exited the ship. Since the deck of the Yamato was practically devoid of ventilation elements, these openings served also that function. The heavy armor plating on the Yamato-class battleships theoretically would provide an unparalleled degree of protection in surface combat. Armor in the belt was Vickers hardened face-hardened steel, 410 mm in thickness and with a notable inclination, intended to withstand impacts from the enemy 406 mm cannons and even the very 460 mm cannons of the Yamato class. The antennas of the Mk2 Mod 2 tactical radar were so small that they hardly get noticed. The radar operated with a frequency of 3 GHz, 10 cm wavelength, and had an effective range of 20 to 35 km. In the conning tower, armor thickness reached 500 mm in the walls and 200 mm in the roof. Optical rangefinder, which had 10 meters in span and could see the horizon about 16.2 kilometers afar. The secondary battery was controlled by a set of 4 optical rangefinders of 4.5 meters in span, being located 2 of them either side of the tripod mast, which could see the horizon about 15.1 kilometers afar, and the other 2 either side of the fore tower, which could see the horizon about 14.3 kilometers afar. The front face of the main turrets had the thickest armor installed in the ship, 650 mm Vickers hardened face-hardened steel, while the barbettes had 550 mm in thickness. Each one of the main turrets weighed a total of 2,510 tons, as much as a typical destroyer. Searchlight directors integrated searchlight direction control into the fire control system. Each director could control several searchlights, but there were as many directors as searchlights to allow for multiple target acquisition. The Yamato had installed 4 large searchlights that were remotely controlled from searchlight directors. The tripod mast supported the dipolar antenna for the Mk1 Mod 3 long-range air early warning radar, which operated with a frequency of 150 MHz, 2 meters wavelength. With a height of 5.47 meters and a width of 2.83 meters, the anchors weighed 15 tons each. The weight of the Yamato affected her speed negatively and, after extensive hydrodynamic tests, the characteristic 4-bulb was added to the design of the hull to allow for an increase in speed. The hull of the Yamato was in fact one of the most hydrodynamically efficient ever built. The 15.5 cm/ 63rd year type naval cannons were originally 12, but later the 6 ones installed amidships were removed to allow for additional anti-aircraft artillery. Each gun had 9.3 meters in length and weighed 12.7 tons, and could fire 555.9 kg shells per minute at a maximum range of 27.4 kilometers. Each 155 mm turret was fitted with an optical rangefinder having a span of 8 meters. The 46 cm/ 45 Type 94 naval cannons were those of largest caliber ever installed in a warship. Each gun had 21.1 meters in length, 45 calibers, and weighed 147.3 tons. They reached a muzzle velocity of 780 meters, second and a maximum range of 42 kilometers, and could fire 2 1,350 kg shells per minute. The Yamato carried 4 AICHI E-13A long-range reconnaissance seaplanes, which could carry 250 kg of bombs if required. Numerous hose reels distributed along the deck allowed for an efficient washing and fire extinction along the whole ship. The Yamato carried 3 Mitsubishi F-1M reconnaissance seaplanes, which were specialized in spotting targets for the artillery and could carry 120 kilograms of bombs if required. An opening on the stern allowed to store aircraft and lifeboats to protect them from the blast caused by the 460 mm cannons. The aircraft had an elevator and 2 catapults at their disposal, and a small network of rails allowed to move aircraft and lifeboats easily. The Yamato had only one crane, which was capable of lifting 6 tons. The 12.7 cm/40 Type 89 naval cannons originally installed in the Yamato were 6 open mountings taken from the cruiser Mogami. When the side 155 mm turrets were removed, an additional group of 6 127 mm covered mountings was installed. These guns weighed 3.1 tons and fired up to 14 23.5 kg shells per minute with a muzzle velocity of 725 meters second, at a maximum distance of 9.5 kilometers. In 1945 the Yamato was crowded with triple mountings of the 25 mm Type 96 anti-aircraft cannon, which could fire 110 rounds per minute with a muzzle velocity of 820 meters second and a maximum effective range of 2,000 meters. The largest part of anti-aircraft mountings were covered to avoid damage from the blast caused by the 460 mm cannons, which could burn the skin of anyone within a radius of 15 meters. Armor in the deck had 200 to 230 mm in thickness and was made out of an alloy that was superior to the homogeneous Vickers plates. Fire control module with integrated Mk2 Mod 1 tactical radar and high-precision optical rangefinder. The radar operated with a frequency of 200 MHz, 1.5 meters wavelength, and had an effective range of at least 20 kilometers. The optical rangefinder had 15 meters in span and could see the horizon about 21.5 kilometers afar. All of the optical systems on board the Yamato were of the highest quality. Optical rangefinder, which had 15 meters in span and could see the horizon about 11.8 kilometers afar. Optical rangefinder, which had 15 meters in span and could see the horizon about 10.9 kilometers afar.